The Shadow of Camp Hero, the real Montauk Project. In the summer of 2016, the world was introduced to 11, the Upside Down, and a shadowy government lab in Hawkins, Indiana. But the creators of Stranger Things, the Duffer Brothers, originally had a different title for their show, Montauk. The series wasn't just inspired by 80s movies, it was based on a series of chilling allegations surrounding Camp Hero, a decommissioned Air Force base at the eastern tip of Long Island. While the government officially claims Camp Hero was merely a coastal defense site, whistleblowers and theorists tell a story of mind control, time travel, and a monster pulled from the subconscious. The origins, from Philadelphia to Montauk. To understand Montauk, you have to look at its alleged predecessor, the Philadelphia experiment of 1943. Legend has it that the U.S. Navy attempted to make the USS Eldridge invisible to radar, but accidentally warped the ship through space-time. According to Preston Nichols, the lead whistleblower of the Montauk Project, the research didn't stop there. In the late 1960s, the project moved to the abandoned Camp Hero. Because the base featured a massive high-powered AN/FPS-35 radar dish, it was the perfect site to experiment with high-frequency radio waves and their effects on the human mind. The Montauk chair and the real-life 11 in Stranger Things, 11 is placed in a sensory deprivation tank to amplify her psychic abilities. In the Montauk legends, this was known as the Montauk chair. Whistleblowers claim they used psychically gifted individuals, often referred to as the Montauk Boys, and sat them in a chair surrounded by electromagnetic sensors. This chair was reportedly linked to the base's massive radar dish, acting as a giant thought amplifier. The most famous subject was a man named Duncan Cameron. It's claimed that when Duncan sat in the chair, his thoughts could manifest into physical reality. If he thought of an object, it would appear in the room. This is a direct parallel to 11's ability to view people in the void and bring them into our world. The Montauk Monster versus the Demogorgon. The climax of the Montauk story sounds exactly like the end of Stranger Things Season 1. According to the book The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time, the scientists pushed Duncan Cameron too far. In 1983, the legend says Duncan whispered the words, "The beast is here." His subconscious unleashed a massive hairy creature from the ether that began physically tearing apart the base. The scientists had to destroy the equipment and the radar dish to sever the connection and make the creature vanish. This mirrors the Demogorgon, a creature from another dimension brought into our world through the psychic trauma of a young test subject. Interestingly, in 2008, a bizarre, unidentifiable animal carcass washed up on a beach nearby, famously known as the Montauk Monster, reigniting the theory that biological experiments are still happening underground. The Montauk Boys and missing children. The most heartbreaking part of the Stranger Things narrative is the abduction of Will Byers and the theft of 11 from her mother. The Montauk Project allegations carry the same dark weight. Preston Nichols and others claimed that hundreds of runaway or marginalized children were abducted off the streets and taken to the underground levels of Camp Hero. These children were allegedly subjected to horrific psychological conditioning to break their minds and unlock latent psychic powers. While there is no paper trail for these abductions, the town of Montauk has long been filled with local lore about strange vans and kids who went missing during the 70s and 80s, creating a culture of silence that feels exactly like the town of Hawkins. Camp Hero. Today, a public park with secrets. Today, Camp Hero is a New York State park. You can hike the trails and even picnic in the shadow of that massive rusted radar dish. However, the mystery remains. Large sections of the base are still heavily fenced off with no trespassing signs. Most of the buildings have their doors and windows welded shut with thick steel plates. Why weld a building shut if it's just an empty barracks? Visitors frequently report their electronic equipment malfunctioning, cameras dying, or feeling a sense of dread near the radar tower. Many believe that while the surface is a park, the multi-level underground bunkers were never truly abandoned. They were simply moved deeper. The MK Ultra connection, the real paper trail. While the Montauk Monster and time travel chairs belong to the realm of high-fringe conspiracy, the foundation they are built on is undeniably real. The Montauk Project is often described as the next phase of Project MK-Ultra, a top-secret CIA program that began in 1953. Just like Dr. Brenner's experiments in Stranger Things, MK-Ultra was designed to find ways to break the human mind and rebuild it. The goal? To create a Manchurian candidate, a submissive agent who could be programmed to perform acts of espionage or even assassination without their own knowledge. Psychic spies and sensory deprivation. The parallels between the Montauk legends and MK-Ultra are startling. Under the direction of Sidney Gottlieb, the CIA funded over 149 sub-projects. These included the use of LSD and other hallucinogens, hypnosis, and extreme sensory deprivation, the exact same void Eleven uses to find the Demogorgon. The government didn't just stop at drugs. They also explored remote viewing through programs like Project Stargate. The CIA officially studied whether psychics could project their consciousness across the globe to spy on Soviet installations. When whistleblowers talk about the Montauk chair magnifying psychic thoughts, they are echoing the documented military obsession with turning the human mind into a weapon. The trauma-based programming. The most disturbing link between Montauk and MK-Ultra is the concept of trauma-based mind control. In Stranger Things, Eleven's powers are triggered by intense emotional and physical stress. In the real MK-Ultra experiments, researchers at institutions like McGill University used electroconvulsive therapy and prolonged sleep to wipe subjects' memories. The survivors of these real-life programs described a process of compartmentalizing the mind, creating separate personalities that could hold secret information. This is exactly what theorists claim happened to the Montauk boys at Camp Hero. By the time the Church Committee exposed these horrors in the 1970s, the CIA claimed to have destroyed most of the records. This missing paperwork is precisely where the legend of Montauk begins. Theorists believe the project didn't end. It simply went off the books and moved to the isolated tip of Long Island. Conclusion: fact versus folklore. Is the Montauk Project real, or is it a brilliantly constructed piece of modern folklore? Most historians classify it as a conspiracy theory fueled by the paranoia of the Cold War. But for the creators of Stranger Things, the vibe of Montauk was too perfect to ignore. The story of the Montauk Project reminds us that the line between science and science fiction is often thinner than we think. Whether it was time travel or just military testing, something happened at the end of Long Island that the government still hasn't fully explained.